Hello, welcome back to Raising Arrows Mama. Today I want to share how I create a unique and specific curriculum plan for each of my children. My name is Heather and I am mama of soon to be 8, and I am currently homeschooling 5 children. This is our 8th year, and we are approaching our 4th year of creating our own unique curriculum that is unique to our family and children. So I'm going to walk you through the simple steps. I do walk through this plan briefly in some old blog posts, but I will try to update that as I can. So today is the very first part, and it's pretty simple. You might think it's too simple. If that's the case, come back next week and we'll get into a little bit more nitty-gritty. The very first place that I like for you to start whenever I'm choosing a curriculum or creating my own is to pray and to set a vision. I like to know and I'm doing what the Lord wants. And there's a lot of ways to go about that, and I'm not going to sit here and dictate that to you. Some great resources include reflecting on last year, and there's plenty. You can Google it, find a ton of reflection sheets. But just reflecting on how your previous year went, what things you want to change, what you want to add, and think through those things and pray about them and set a vision for the next year. The other thing that you're going to want to do is you want to kind of know what methodology you're using. Here we use mostly Charlotte Mason. So that's what you're going to find, and that's what I'm going to suggest throughout these videos, is how to create a Charlotte Mason style homeschool plan. However, we are not purists. Not everything I do is perfectly Charlotte Mason style. And that's why we create our own. There are great places to get resources from, which I'll share in later videos, but none of them worked for our family to a T. So I create our own for our family and for each individual child. And that is something that has come about through prayer over the years. So pray. Start figuring out your methodology. For me, that requires studying Charlotte Mason's actual words. There are so many great blogs and videos and so many great things, but if I really want to do things the way the Charlotte Mason does them, I need to look it up, because as I recently saw in Chantel, Intentional Homeschooling shared, there are a lot of people who say this is a Charlotte Mason aspect, and it's not. Morning baskets aren't exclusively Charlotte Mason, nor are they something Charlotte Mason did. There's a lot of different things that people glom onto the Charlotte Mason moniker, and it's just not the way it is. So if you really want to know, it's great to look at these other people who are sharing like me, but the best place to go is to her volumes. Volume 1 and 6 are going to give you the big picture, but you really need to read all of them. I have read all but number 6, so I've only read snippets here and there. So I'm taking that at my friend's advice. So after you pray and you've set a vision and you kind of know this is the methodology I want to use, this is the way we want to go this school year, the next thing is to choose your start date. And I say that because that is important for many people for your state. Now, I live in Indiana, and praise the Lord, the only thing we have to do is have 180 days from start to finish. I can set that for whenever I want. But what I do is I just find a free calendar online, wherever I can find it, and I use that to set my date. What I do, I've shared in a couple other videos about scheduling. We have generally followed a Sabbath schedule, and that's what we typically follow. Now, with us having so many kids across so many grade levels and so many family responsibilities and ministry responsibilities, my husband's a pastor, we have to kind of be more flexible with that. And we aren't strictly Sabbath scheduling where we do 6 weeks of school, 1 week off. We play it a little bit more by ear, but basically you want to figure out your start date. As I said, we do things a little different. We used to take all of December off. We don't do that anymore in order to have a longer summer break for my kids, for ministry reasons, for just for me to prepare for all of this, because this is my job and it does take time to do all these things. So you're going to want to figure out your start date, whether it's I want to be done before May and you count back, then that's fine. You say we don't want to start till September and then count forward, whatever you want to do, but you need to choose your start date. We have started in July, we have started in August, we have never started in September because that feels a little late. I have children with birthdays in May, several. So that is generally our end date, as we try to finish before birthdays because we don't school on birthdays. And so that's getting a little harder, but we try to finish before Memorial Day at the very latest, and I count backwards from that. But you can do your calendar however you want. Choose your start date, because then you at least have a goal. If you have to move that start date, that's okay, but at least have a goal in mind, because it helps you to not just keep pushing it off. Take that from experience. The last thing I want you to consider in this preliminary section of getting ready for your school year, creating your own curriculum, you've prayed about what your purpose is, you know what your vision is, you've set a focus for your school year. You've figured out when you're going to start, or roughly an idea, like, we're going to start near Labor Day. But you've got that in your mind. Next thing you want to do is figure out what subjects you want to teach, because you're not pulling from one specific curriculum that has outlined every subject. You're going to need to choose what subjects you want to teach. If you are brand new to homeschooling, listen to this, please. If you're brand new, just starting out, please start with less. Start with a little and add as you are capable. Start with Bible, history, science, math, and language arts. And that's it, okay? I promise you can add in the rest of the feast later on, but keep it simple and then add. I am now on the other end of it. Plus, I was an educator before I had children. So my goal, my way of doing it a lot of times is more and then cut back. But when I first started out, that was what helped us, is to cut it back to the very basics. And then I wasn't overwhelmed by, we didn't do recitation, and we didn't do all of the Charlotte Mason feast, because it's a little overwhelming. However, if you kind of know the Charlotte Mason method, you're ready to do this, maybe you've done it with a curriculum or tried to do your own thing in the past, and you kind of know what you're doing and you are pretty confident in her methodology and how to teach things, then what I suggest is, for choosing your subjects, I've got a couple different ways. You could just make a list of subjects. That's generally what I do. I have a paper here that I fill out, which I will talk about more, but I list all the subjects. And not all those subjects are for every grade level, and I just make a list of them. That's what I do. And I will put this form linked below that I have created. Here are a list of Charlotte Mason subjects. Here are ones that we are doing as a family. And you're like, whoa, that's crazy long. That's because I put more detail in my family ones, so that way I know what all I want to keep and include. However, if you want this, I will switch. I am tongue-tied today. Sorry, I'm 37 weeks pregnant. My brain is a little frazzled. I will put these resources in the description box below as I am able. So next is A Delectable Education, which is a wonderful podcast. I'm not big on podcasts, but I do listen to theirs, kind of pick and choose. And I recently went to their virtual conference. It's very helpful. On their website, they have subjects by form, and you can listen to each podcast episode about each subject by each form or grade level. They also have these printables, and they're kind of hard to find, but they'll like list form 1B, and they'll have all the podcasts, and then underneath that they'll have a link for this form, and it'll show all the different subjects, and they have it for every form. And what I did at one point in time when I first was starting out is I went through each form or grade level that I had, and I highlighted things based on, okay, everybody has this, like everybody has some kind of copy work. Everybody's doing poetry. Everybody's doing hymns. And not necessarily that we were going to do all those things, but then I could see, okay, across the board, these are things we can combine as a family, and these are not. You don't have to do this step. It did help me though. If you are heavily relying on Ambleside Online for their book lists and things, they also, I believe this form is in, it may be on their website, it may be on Facebook. Files for Ambleside Online is a wealth of knowledge. Join the Facebook Ambleside group. I promise you the files section will reward you for that. But it breaks down every subject, and then it has every book. They have another one that's just subjects. But you're trying to get out your subjects. Now, on my form, I have it delineated by knowledge of God, knowledge of man, knowledge of the universe, which is how Charlotte Mason breaks them down. If you go to volume 6, you will see this breakdown of subjects, and that's how she explains it. And then here, I've just taken it a little bit further, so that like my literature, I put all the things that we do. These are not necessarily Charlotte Mason categories. That's what we do. Classics, free reads, poetry, and Shakespeare are Charlotte Mason. I add in modern literature, and I have a video about that if you're interested. But that's for me. So I've got my list of subjects now. That is all I want you to do to start out. and it feels like a lot. You're going to pray, you're going to set your vision, you're going to check on your methodology, know that you're set in stone and how you want to do it. You're going to set your schedule, at least loosely pick a start date or an end date, whichever way you want to do it, reverse planning, and then list out your subjects. That's it. That's the first few steps in creating your own curriculum. And it seems too simple, but I promise you, we'll get into more of the nitty-gritty in the next video. But that is my first few steps, and I will try to link all these resources below. So pray, set a vision, go ahead and choose your calendar and set your date, start date, and then go ahead and list out what subjects do you want. If you're just starting out, stick with the very basics: Bible, history, science, math, and language arts. Don't go overboard, okay? If you're not new to this whole thing, go ahead and go overboard. You can always take them off your list. I list out everything and then I remove what I can't handle. So those are the 3 steps. If you have any questions, let me know and stick around for the next installment of how to create your own curriculum. Thank you for watching.